Now, that was a race. Ricky Thornton Jr. muscled out Jonathan Davenport early on, going from fourth to first in the first turn. He would lead every single lap after that, holding off a hard-charging Devin Moran. But we had absolutely excellent racing action throughout this race. Before we get to this, I'd like to ask you, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos here at John Trent Racing. Let's get into this here. This is the opening lap of the race. You can see Ricky Thornton Jr. started in fourth. He is there behind Jonathan Davenport, who is on the outside. And you have Garrett Albertson on the pole. And I think that is Devin Moran there on the inside of Ricky Thornton Jr. Ricky Thornton Jr. in a little bit of a different car this week with the white car with the blue top. Let's take a look at this here. You can see Alberson's kind of moving up already. Ricky Thornton Jr. is able to shoot the gap in the middle that Albertson and Davenport leave for him, and he just kind of motors past Albertson. Davenport gives him a big run for his money here. Drifts up. Ricky Thornton Jr. misjudges it. They're banging walls. Davenport comes back down on him hard. I mean, this is just absolutely awesome for the first two laps. You can tell these guys wanted to get out in front, and whoever was going to get out in front first was likely going to win this race. Ricky Thornton Jr. there is able to get up in front of him and block him out. Absolutely fantastic racing there. Ricky Thornton Jr. would end up taking the lead and pulling away, but Davenport would kind of stalk him for the first 10 laps of the race before we would have a caution with lap 30 for debris. Both of them would kind of check out to a 3+ second lead, I think they said, where we did have some really good racing here for third and fourth and fifth here as well in those kind of 10 laps as Davenport and Ricky Thornton Jr. had checked out. I guess this is for fourth, fifth, and sixth with Albertson, Moran, and the Paler Motorsports car of Carson Ferguson. You have Max Blair's there as well, and Tim McCready in the Rocket 1. This is some really good stuff here. I really enjoyed this racing here. You got a 5-car battle here for that fourth position, and they did this for a number of laps and almost until I think that caution flag came out with debris. Carson Ferguson was really wheeling it here. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see that. I blame Flow Racing. Obviously, they thought there was a battle for the lead, so they went back to that. But, man, that was a great race for position 4 there. And, again, they would cut back to it, and we would get to see some really good racing there. Obviously, Devin Moran and Max Blair would be the ones to kind of come out of there ahead as we would get to this restart here on lap 30 after that caution for debris that I was mentioning. And Davenport would start in second, but he would fade on the restart. He did not have a very good restart. He would fade to fourth here. You can see Moran is already kind of down on the bottom, a little bit ahead of him on the track, and we'll see Max Blair get around him as well. Chris Simpson poking his nose in there, but he wouldn't really be a player. You can see here, Davenport tries to shoot the gap, much like Ricky Thornton Jr. did earlier in the race, but it just wouldn't work out for him. Moran's able to beat him off on the top end, and Blair's able to slip by him on the inside. But like I said, this is just really, really good racing here. First 10 laps of the race, really good stuff. I mean, 3 wide here. Like, it doesn't get any better than this. Just fantastic, fantastic racing. Like you can see there, Blair does indeed edge out Davenport right there. We'll continue. And then we would have Blair try and make a run here on Devin Moran, and they would be beating a little bit of fenders here. Let's take a look at this here. Blair comes off the corner here. Moran's running that high side. Just a little bit of beating the fenders there. These guys were all out racing each other as hard as it gets. And then Blair even got around Moran there for a little bit, but it wouldn't last for long. Moran would come back around here and take that spot back. There you go again, banging those fenders. They were not giving each other any inches here. These guys were laying it all out on the line, and it made for some great, great racing. With about 10 laps to go, it looked like Moran was going to be able to kind of hunt down Ricky Thornton Jr. as they were getting into some lap traffic. However, Ricky Thornton Jr. was able to maneuver around that lap traffic significantly better than Moran. Moran was really making up a ton of ground on the inside lane, but that is where the lap traffic was, and that would significantly affect his late charge here in the last quarter of the race. You can see here Ricky Thornton Jr. running that top side, gets around the lap car here, and looks like Moran he's right there with him. He's really within a couple car lengths there. Ricky gets a really good run, but you see how Moran has to go to the top there, and he's never able to really close the gap after that. That was kind of his last chance there. Lap cars all running on the bottom. You can see right there, didn't really have a chance to take that lane that he needed to really kind of hunt down Ricky Thornton Jr. and really challenge him for the lead. And Ricky Thornton Jr. would maintain that gap and win the race. Davenport would eventually beat Max Blair right at the line, right at the finish line to claim that third spot. But that bad restart there on lap 30 really kind of set him back. Didn't really have anything to challenge the top two guys there in Ricky Thornton and Devin Moran. And these guys look to be the favorite heading into the Show Me 100 tomorrow. Obviously, Ricky Thornton Jr. has won both nights so far. Moran has been on the podium both nights as well, finishing second tonight, and he finished third last night. Was really strong at the end of the race last night. I think he came from fifth to third in that final restart, whereas Ricky was able to get around Garrett Albertson with that final restart with 3 laps to go. This is what Ricky Thornton Jr. had to say about that initial contact. We cannot let that go. Obviously, these are the two of the guys that are in the hunt for the championship. They are probably two of the best in Super Dirt Late Model racing. They are clearly want to beat each other every single night there on the track. And they were definitely both battling for that position. I think they both took a little bit of a professional response here. I'm not sure if I'm buying fully what they are selling, but let's listen to what Ricky Thornton Jr. had to say here.
Yeah, no, that was definitely all my fault. I thought I cleared him in 3, and then I hit the slime off of 4. I thought I left him enough room, but clearly I didn't. So I was just glad it didn't wreck both of us. Like I said, it was 100% my own fault. I didn't plan on sliding up as far as I did, and I thought I left him enough room, but it sucks to pair of cars on the first lap there, but this thing was really good. I don't know, we went a little bit different tire than those guys again, and I think it paid off for us.
That move.
So there you go. That is what Ricky Thornton Jr. had to say about the contact with Davenport on that first lap. I don't know. He's obviously taking the blame. I'm not sure if he didn't think he was going to be sliding up there. I think maybe he knew Davenport was there. He knew that if he could keep Davenport behind him, especially there on that first lap, he probably had a better chance at beating him. Davenport is really, really good at this track. And I think that he thought that the race could have been won there at the very beginning, because once he got to the lead, no one else passed him, and that could have been the case with anyone else as well. And if I think Davenport got to the lead, it was going to be really hard to pass him as well. So I'm not sure if him not knowing that Davenport wasn't there and he got up into the slick and he drifted up a little more than what he thought is the full story. I think maybe he knew Davenport was there and maybe decided to rough him up a little bit. Although there is some danger to that, obviously, with these Super Dirt Late models. If you do some damage to the body of the car, it can potentially cut the tire. He did have that checked out on that lap 30 caution, but there was no tire rub and nothing was out of order. And obviously, he came home with the win. This is what Davenport had to say after kind of listening to what Ricky Thornton said. And he gives his point of view here.
Yeah, like it was just the first lap, So I thought he was going to give me room, and I guess he just misjudged or whatever. But I was as far as I could get up. I hit the outside wall and him at the same time, and basically knocked the wheel out of my hands. The reason I like run down the racetrack on him. So anyway, shit happens, I guess. So anyway, just thankful to be up here in the top 3.
So I don't know. I don't know if the wheel got knocked out of his hands. Obviously, that's a possibility. and because he did hit the wall and Ricky's car at the same time when Ricky came up and hit him. Didn't really have anywhere to go. Was clearly squeezed by Ricky Thornton Jr. But I don't know if that was because the wheel popped out of his hand. It looked like he made a hard left turn into Ricky's side there, letting him know he did not like that. So I don't know. Like I said, I think these guys are playing coy here, being a little bit professional. Maybe not letting off what exactly was happening there. Maybe I'm reading too much into it though. But this was a great race. I really enjoyed it. I thought there was some great racing throughout. I loved seeing the battle between Ricky Thornton and JD there in the first couple laps. And then that excellent race for fourth place there between Carson Ferguson, Garrett Albertson, Devin Moran, Tim McCready, etc. That was really fun to watch. And then kind of seeing on that lap 30 restart too, seeing what Devin Moran and Max Blair was able to do, kind of pulling one over on Jonathan Davenport, who struggled on that restart there. But then seeing JD kind of edge Blair out at the line, that was good to see too. Some really hard racing. Great racing throughout, seeing what Moran could do. Maybe if he could catch him, and it looked like he was going to get there, but that line on the bottom just was not there once they got into those lap cars who were all running that same line, and that really did, I think, affect Moran's challenge for the win there. But that was great racing. I think the track was much better. It was a much better race than last night, even though we had the pretty exciting finish with Ricky Thornton passing Garrett Albertson with 2 laps to go to claim the win. This was a much better race overall. But let's go over the lineup here. This is over at myracepass.com, or the finishing order, I should say, not the lineup. Ricky Thornton Jr. obviously got the win. Devin Moran came home in second. Jonathan Davenport rounded out your podium in third. Max Blair moved up 4 spots to finish in fourth. Jimmy Owens, the Newport Nightmare, came home in fifth. Had a really strong car. Looked like he might have been able to, had a couple more laps to be able to maybe make a move on Max Blair or JD, because he was definitely coming there. Garrett Albertson faded to sixth. Carson Ferguson, really strong run in seventh. Like I said, he looked really good early, faded a little bit towards the end. I think he made a driver error at one point. We didn't really get to see it, but they did comment on it that he kind of lost it a little bit, and that really kind of set him back there and ended his chances of kind of maybe competing for that podium. I think he was running in fifth at the time. Tim McCready finished in eighth. Mike Marlar charged up 11 spots. I think looks like he is your hard charger. Charged up 11 spots, finishing in ninth. Didn't really get to see him at all on the coverage, so that's unfortunate. But Marlar, always having a strong car, especially during these features, has been struggling with qualifying. I think he didn't. I don't even. Yeah, I think he had to go. He had to race in through a B main last night. I think he did. I think he might have. I'm not sure if he had to do a B main tonight as well. I don't recall. He might have done a B main tonight too. Spencer Hughes in 10th. Chris Simpson in 11th, faded to 11th, 6 spots. Dalton Wilson moved up 4 to 12th. Ross Robinson in 13th. Hudson O'Neal moved up 4 spots to 14th. Gordy Gundaker in 15th. Chad Simpson in 16th. Clay Harris in 17th. Justin Wells did the double, won the Power I race, and then hopped in the Lucas Oil Series and finished in 18th. Brian Rickman finished in 19th. Aaron Morant finished in 20th. Peyton Looney was 21st. Garrett Smith exited the race early, finished in 22nd. Drake Trauman, I think he exited the race early as well, finishing in 23rd. And then Dylan McCowan finished in 24th. So that rounds out the field there. That is how they finished. But let me know what you guys made of this race. Let me know in the comments below. Especially let me know what you thought about that first lap racing between Ricky Thornton Jr. and Jonathan Davenport, and what they had to say after the race about that incident. Are you buying what they're selling? Let me know in the comments below.